Welcome to the Unstructured Data Analysis tutorial series, where we explore unstructured data analytic capabilities using Oracle's Big Data Discovery. Today's session will focus on using tag clouds to facilitate a pipeline analysis in life sciences using data from clinicaltrials.gov. Today we're going to take a look at how Oracle's Big Data Discovery can be used to analyze early stage clinical trial data, which we are sourcing from clinicaltrials.gov. Which will look something like this in terms of the search results, and which will look like this once we download the studies. You can see the attributes, a lot of rich information, the title, condition, intervention, and in Oracle's Big Data Discovery, we're able to create something like this fairly quickly, where we can drill into the data by top outcome measure, and the tag cloud will update. You see here we're exploring the condition by number of records, but if we wanted to, we could configure this so that the tag cloud shows different terms. We could have conditions, we could have it outcome measures, key phrases, do sponsors, and title, and save. And remember, we have a filter applied here, maximum tolerated dose, and you'll notice that the intervention updated, the top intervention that's using that outcome measure, top sponsor has the most studies that's using that outcome measure, number of studies, of course, and the number of participants enrolled. So here you'll see all of the options that we just added when we configure the tag cloud. So we can MTD, not sure what that is. Again, a lot of discovery is very iterative, and in configuring an analytic dashboard in Oracle's Big Data Discovery, you are actually doing a lot of the discovery work. So in setting up a curated experience for someone else to use, you learn a lot, and I think that the line has become blurred, and this truly is self-service, where the analyst, in this case myself, is composing an analytic space, and as I'm dragging and dropping components and configuring them, like the tag cloud, I'm learning what's relevant, what's not. Here you can see sponsors. Again, this maps to the top sponsor. You can see is the MD Anderson Cancer Center. Title, you can see title of the study. Since there's just one title for each study, you can see that these are all the same size. We can switch to a list view. Okay, so let's go back to conditions. And let's remove the filter. And so we can see here a lot of healthy studies. This is the data is all studies that were returned with phase 1 as a search term. And down here in this chart, we see the status, completed recruiting. So if we wanted to filter by completed studies, we could just click on completed in the legend. And then we see top outcome measures are safety, because in the clinical development workflow, one of the first things that's evaluated is the safety of a drug. So that's not surprising. Let's see. If we wanted to get a window into really what was the most active, we would click on recruiting. Okay, and this gives us a good sense of active studies. Okay, we can see Pfizer, Novartis, National Cancer Institute. So a lot of activity in cancer and recruiting. So again, that's the only filter that's been applied. We see the top intervention is this biological KTE C19, and the top sponsor is the National Cancer Institute. Top outcome measure is number of adverse events. So we can click on the biologic and then see it's for acute lymphoblastic leukemia. 2 studies on that condition. There are 3 total. The other study is on refractory diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, excuse me. And the sponsor is Kite Pharma. So you can see that this is, if we want to see how many other studies may have been completed, and so none have been completed. This biologic has only 3 studies, and it's actively recruiting for those studies. Let's see if we can dig into something that's pancreatic and prostate cancer. So all of this seems to be cancer, tumors. Here's influenza. Interesting. Let's see who's doing the work. So there are 35 studies, number of enrolled, status completed is the most, but let's see the sponsors. Now we see who's doing the work. And we can see where these various sponsors are in terms of the status of their studies. So again, within the phase 1, we're looking at studies that target influenza. And here we're seeing studies by phase of the study, whether it's completed or recruiting, or active, not recruiting, unknown, or terminated, by the company, and the number of participants enrolled. So we can see here the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases has the most participants enrolled, and they've also completed the study. And so I would think it's fair to say that they are the most advanced in this area of study. They've run the most number of participants through a completed trial. They have the most number of studies in this area. We can see what the outcome measures that are being used, safety and immunogenicity. So I hope we've demonstrated today how flexible Oracle Big Data Discovery is when it comes to using semi-structured data that we're seeing here in the tag cloud to refine and identify interesting data points within large data sets. And that's to contrast that with how the source data can be filtered and drilled into on the site that it's sourced from, clinicaltrials.gov. There is an advanced search or filters that are possible. We modify the search. And the primary difference is you need to know all of these filters a priori, which is the exact opposite of what discovery is all about, which is that ad hoc drill into something based on something that you notice it to be of interest. It's not front-loading all of your questions and filters before you run a query. Okay, this right here is a completely top-down investigation path where you have all of your questions formed beforehand, all your search criteria, and here, you're much more nimble and you're able to selectively refine, filter, back out of searches based on visualizations of the data and interesting relationships that exist in the data. I hope you've enjoyed today's brief session on using unstructured and semi-structured data to guide and inform a discovery path. Stay tuned for more seminars in the upcoming weeks.